Ever heard of Dogman? Half dog, half man. Well, it may not be a 1-to-1 ratio, but you know, there's definitely some portion that is dog and some portion that is man. If you've ever experienced a Dogman sighting, it's likely you will never be the same. Because these things carry with them such dread that it will basically alter your understanding of the world, just knowing this creature is out there and that it exists. And I'm going to share some with you if you hang on to the end of the video, and I'm going to talk about what I'm doing to look for Dogman. But you know, Dogman may be one of the most frightening cryptids out there. Definitely not something you'd want to run into if you're not expecting it out in the middle of the woods sometime at night. Chances are he's been around for thousands of years, so let's take a look at it. We're going to look at the history of this thing. So first off, if y'all new here, like and subscribe and click that notification button. It really helps us out. And go watch all our other videos too and like them. What is Dogman? I think the name implies a lot, but it doesn't really answer the question. Now we can describe him physically and look into the history of this guy, and we'll do that a little bit later in this video. But I think the question of what Dogman is answered by the absolute embodiment of evil that pervades all the sightings that are associated with this guy. This is the kind of creature that just leaves someone asking, why me? Why did this happen to me? And what you end up with is basically a life-changing experience, and generally not for the better. First, let's look at some historically related things to the current Dogman we got in our modern. So you got ancient Egypt, the god Anubis. Now where did this image come from? Generally these kind of legends have some sort of basis in fact. And if you look at modern sightings, there's a lot that kind of resemble this Egyptian god. So maybe the ancient Egyptians had experiences with these things as well. And maybe they've seen the other weird creatures that make up their gods as well, you know? You got Catman, Birdman, and Crocodile Man. Who knows? I don't know. But you know, this video is about Dogman. We don't really care about those other freaks right now. So you got references in ancient Greece and in the Middle Ages, all throughout Europe, into the Renaissance, and even in the United States up into the 1800s and the 1900s. But the thing I think that differentiates the Dogman from the werewolf is the ability of the werewolf to transmogrify from a man into a wolf under the light of a full moon. Yep, you got your full moons and your silver bullets and all the folklore that comes along with it that you don't got with the Dogman. And then you've also got the skinwalker. Now the skinwalker is a little bit different. You know, it comes from Navajo traditions generally, and there's a lot of American Indian tribes that have stories that are associated with the kind of the skinwalker being. But basically, this thing is a shapeshifter. Now many times it is seen in the form of a wolf or a wolf man kind of deal. Sometimes it's something else like a reptile or maybe a bird. And sometimes it's just a very large, normal quadrupedal wolf. Something like a dire wolf, you know, very large wolf that has been extinct for many years. So there's that one. But now you've got Dogman. So what are we going to do with him? Now Dogman fits many definitions that we've already discussed. Dogman, like these other examples, is basically a man with dog-like features. Or you know, maybe it's a dog with man-like features. I don't suppose it really matters either way, but you know, either way you got this bipedal creature that's got like a dog looking face and ears covered in fur. Now generally these guys are 7 foot tall or so, much taller than your average man. Probably one of the most spine-chilling cryptids out there. And those are some of the commonalities between these sightings. But looking at some of the differences. So starting with the face. A lot of times people see these Dogmen, sometimes they have a human-looking face, sometimes they got a dog-looking face. Sometimes that dog face has a long snout, looks more like a wolf, and sometimes it looks just like that god Anubis that we were talking about earlier. Now moving on to the upper body. Some have very large, rounded shoulders, and some have shoulders that look more like a dog's. You know, they don't got that third degree of rotation. And then some have really wide upper bodies, and some have very slender upper bodies. Slender Dogman. And you know, maybe part of that's just their lifestyle. You know, some of them ride that lap pull down home, and some of them could care less. And then you got the lower body, and this is where the real differences are. And the biggest one here, the legs. Some have human-looking legs and feet, but some have the dog-looking legs and feet, you know, with the extended ankle. Looks almost like a reverse knee as high up as it is, but you know, they still have knees. So how does Dogman behave? What is his temperament? You know, you always look at dogs and you try and figure out, you know, this is a good dog or a bad dog when you're trying to get one. So, you know, you've got Sasquatch, and generally Sasquatch, he'll hide out in the woods, and, you know, he's a pretty reclusive guy, and occasionally he'll show up and people will see him or stumble upon him, and he just wants people to go away from him, leave him alone. He'll throw rocks and yell and try and mark his territory. And Dogman, nah, Dogman's something completely different. Dogman doesn't care if you see him. He could care less. He probably wants you to see him. He'll stalk you, hiding just out of sight. He's following along as you're walking down the road. These are old country roads, very secluded, and you're by yourself, wondering what's going to happen next. You can feel that heaviness in the air, and you're just waiting for something to happen. And then something generally does happen. Dogman, he'll come out of the trees or come out of the tall grass that he's using to hide himself and cover himself, and he'll show himself to whoever is walking down this road. And before he shows up, you can feel that feeling of someone watching you, the dread associated with it. And this might go on for a while until you see it. And there he is, 7 foot tall, dog-like creature standing on 2 legs. Unhuman, unnatural beast. And you're nothing to this guy. You're just frozen there, gripped in fear, looking at what can only be described as the embodiment of evil. So anyway, we're out there looking for Dogman. So if y'all got any leads, let us know. We're out here in Oklahoma. I'm going to share a couple of sightings that have been described to me. There's a sighting I heard of. It was between Antlers and Atoka, Oklahoma. There's a very large wildlife refuge just north of there, and I'm gonna go check it out pretty soon here. Anyway, there's not a whole lot to the sighting, just that it occurred kind of by a creek that runs through there. There's a bridge and someone was driving over it, and they just happened to see this dog-like being there that was walking around like a person. So we got one. This one was described to me at a conference. It was a Bigfoot conference in Anubis, Oklahoma. They do it every year. And I went to this last one. There's a guy there, he was part of some Bigfoot research organization from Texas. He told me of a Dogman he's seen out near Broken Bow. He showed me a picture of it. It was a really blurry, grainy image. It was really dark. You couldn't really tell. It looked like it could have been possibly just a regular dog's face, but I'm going to take his word for it for now, and I'm going to check it out myself. But anyway, he said he saw this Dogman as he was walking around looking for Bigfoot, I assume. When he dropped a Snickers bar, this Dogman picked up the Snickers bar and it ate it, and he watched it, and he took that picture of it, and he showed it to me. So this last case here, and this is basically your typical Dogman sighting. It's not silly like a Dogman eating a Snickers bar, or a vague sighting like something dog-like creature hanging out by a bridge. Nah, this one is clear, leaving a lasting impact on the people involved. This one occurred in 1999 near McLeod, Oklahoma. And that's not far from where I live. It's been almost 20 years ago now. But I would imagine if you asked the woman that saw this thing, she would remember it like it was yesterday. So it was a normal morning, very early, still dark outside. She was on her way to work. She worked at a large chain retail store, unpacking boxes. She was driving there that morning. Everything was fine. But in fact, everything was not fine. Because just in front of her, at this T-shaped intersection where she was about to turn, something was waiting for her. There before her, on the embankment of the road, was a Dogman. And of course, he didn't care that she saw him. In fact, he probably wanted her to see him, enjoying the morning. But for her, this affected her deeply. It didn't happen just 1 or even 2 times. It happened 4 or 5 times over a period of months. And it got to the point where she just couldn't take it anymore. She wasn't sleeping, she wasn't eating. She finally just started having to take a different way to work and took the long way just because she was so worried that this thing would follow her wherever she was going. And that's the thing about Dogman. People feel almost a connection with it. It's a dreaded connection, something you don't want, but it's there. And she felt this thing was personally watching her. And that's why it left such a deep impact on her life after that. Now I know it's been a long time. We're gonna go investigate this one. I've got some leads that I'm looking into, and we'll make a video here pretty soon. I'm gonna head out there and check out the area where this occurred and, see where it takes us. But anyway, those are a few of the signs that we're gonna go investigate, see what we see out there. But there's been a lot of Dogman sightings throughout the state of Oklahoma, and in fact throughout the whole country of the United States. 38 out of 50 states have reported seeing some sort of Dogman-like creature over the years. So this isn't just some isolated phenomenon. It's nationwide, it's worldwide, and it has occurred throughout time. And that's why we're looking for him. So anyway, that's all we got for this video. Again, send your stories to me. Send them to wildbluetvstories@gmail.com, and that goes for any stories y'all got, experiences, or pictures you have. Check out our other videos, check out our Facebook page, and check out our website. With that said, Wild Blue out.